Fishing line is, I mean, it's what connects us to the fish in a lot of ways. I mean, it comes from a reel, goes down our rod to whatever bait that we're using, and it's what we've got to have to be able to reel those fish in. It's the thing that's between us and them, and it's very important to make sure you've got the right line. Knowing the right line for the fishing application is so very important. You know, there's a time to use the super braided lines, there's a time to use the monofilaments, there's a time to use the fluorocarbon, and there's times to use the differences of each one of those categories. And the folks at Sunline have a wide range of that, and we're going to spend some time right now hearing from them about how you can pick the best line for your fishing application.
Hi, I'm Aaron Martens. I got some rods here. I'm going to be talking about Sunline Sniper and Sunline Shooter. Those are two lines I use probably 90% of the time. I use Sniper on most of my spinning gear because it's a little easier, it's more manageable, it casts easier. It's a little softer, has a little more stretch to it, but that's pretty much what you want when you're finesse fishing. I use pretty much 7-pound most of the time. I do go to 8 when I'm fishing around a little more cover, bigger fish. You know, I might need a little extra strength. And I do use shooter on both of these sometimes too. If I'm around, say, a lot of brush, cover, rocks, you might need a little more abrasion resistant, and the shooter seems to be a little better at that. Shooter I fish probably 80% of the time on tour. And the reason I like shooter is because it's really low stretch. It's a very hard line. I've tried a bunch of lines out in the past, experimented, and the shooter is the closest thing that you're gonna get to braid. And I like low stretch lines. I like the least stretch as possible, especially while fishing jigs, Texas rigs, even jerk baits, crank baits, you know, spinner baits. It's awesome on. And you want fishing those baits. You want the least stretch as possible. So shooter's gonna be your line for that. Extremely abrasion resistant, great knot strength. You know, you want to make sure you tie some kind of slip knot. You don't want to tie like a Palomar in it. I use a uni knot with 6 or 7 wraps, and I double the line too. And it seems to work really well for me. When I hit that fish on the 12-pound shooter, I mean, if you haven't fished shooter, you really need to go buy a spool and try it, because you're gonna realize how good the line is when on the first fish you set the hook on, you're ruined.
If you missed this episode or just want to see it again, visit carecotv.com.